Welcome back, friends. It's been a while. I hope time's been as kind to you as it has been to me. Since we last spoke, I've gotten to make a feature film and play it at festivals around the world. But more importantly, my lady and I welcomed a healthy baby boy into the world. Many cheers to that. Now, let's get down to business. Tonight, we'll be starting a new 3-part series, with part 1 this eve, part 2 Saturday night, and part 3 on Sunday night. As always, pour 'em and roll 'em. This is Excavate. I worked on the Gobekli Tepe excavation site and know the truth about our past and future. I was one of the last archaeologists to be walked off site after the decision to fill it back in and seal it up was made. Everyone argued against it, but in the end, the money won. The reasons given were for the preservation of the site, concerns about structural instability in uncovered sections, and limiting tourism damage. None of that is true. I'm an experienced archaeologist and paleoanthropologist with over 25 years of field experience. PhD in archaeology from Cambridge with a focus on Neolithic cultures and early human society structures, as well as a master's degree in geology. I've worked sites in Egypt, Mesopotamia, and South America. I've been extensively published on the topics of early human settlements, focusing on the intersection of environmental change and human development. 5 years ago, I started work at Gobekli Tepe. I was brought on as a senior archaeologist because of my expertise in ancient cultures and their relationship with climate cycles. My time at GT exposed me to truths that challenged what I thought were the limits of conventional science, astrophysics, and climate science. What I learned was a complete redefining of human history. For those unaware, Gobekli Tepe is an ancient archaeological site in southeastern Turkey. It sits on a hilltop on the edge of the Fertile Crescent, an area often referred to as the cradle of civilization. This area, close to the borders of modern-day Syria and Iraq, has been a crossroads of human activity for thousands of years. It predates Stonehenge by 6,000 years, dating back to 9600 BC, and is considered one of the world's oldest known temple complexes. The exterior structures consist of massive stone pillars arranged in circular formations and covered in intricate carvings with images of animals, humans, and abstract symbols. The sheer scale and sophistication of them shatters the idea that prehistoric societies were composed of small nomadic hunter-gatherer groups. Its very existence upends long-standing theories about the developments of human civilization, suggesting that large-scale social and religious structures likely emerged long before the advent of agriculture or settled life. And what laid under it told a more unnerving story. When I first arrived, I was told how the site had always held a strange gravity, like something that inexplicably pulled you towards it. And I can attest that was true. I felt it my first morning there, like a magnet pulling me down. I thought it was more a place of ancient worship, just some historic temple frozen in time. But by the time I left, I knew the truth. It wasn't a temple. It was a tombstone. The creatures etched into the surfaces were immediately familiar, recognizable, but it was the celestial symbols that raised more questions. To some of the researchers, they were just stars and planets. To others, they were a codex, a cipher, one that, if unlocked, would reveal knowledge humanity was meant to hold. Either way, they were conceptualized and carved with a sophistication that should have been impossible for its era. The day we broke through the last layer of sediment, the air became cold around us, like the earth itself was trying to repel our entrance. We unearthed an entire chamber beneath the main site. It was an area untouched for millennia, its carvings distinct from anything we'd seen before. These weren't animals, and they weren't stars. They were events, catastrophes, the end of the world, etched in stone, over and over again. I studied one pillar for hours, running my fingers over the detailed depictions of solar flares, volcanic eruptions, and mass extinctions. It was all there, encoded in rock, a roadmap of destruction, meticulously etched by hands far more aware of the cosmos than we are. The ancient builders were warning us about the cycle. They knew the climate of our world wasn't random, nor was it safe. Every 6,000 years, Earth purges itself. Call it a reset, if you like. Maybe even a great reset. What they etched into the walls wasn't conjecture. It was a mathematical certainty. Gobekli Tepe had been deliberately buried to preserve it, to shield it from the next cataclysm. Early on in the discovery of the chamber we found, on the deepest pillar, hidden beneath centuries of dust, was a constellation. But it wasn't from our time. The stars were aligned in a way they hadn't been for nearly 12,000 years. The last major pole shift. The last time the Earth reset itself. What I stared at looked like a solar micronova, the type life of any kind doesn't recover from. During an event of this particular magnitude, the solar micronova explodes outward from the sun with the energy of 1 billion atomic bombs, ejecting plasma and radiation that would pummel Earth in a matter of hours or even minutes. There are no long warnings, no slow transitions. This is not just another disaster. It's the end of civilization. An event so catastrophic that no trace of our existence will remain. Within moments, the Earth's magnetic shield, which has protected the planet for eons, collapses, leaving the atmosphere vulnerable to the full impact of cosmic radiation. Radiation floods the surface, incinerating anything exposed. The skies burn with fiery auroras, and the temperature on the surface rises at an exponential rate. The poles, which were shifting, now flip in an instant, tearing apart the delicate balance that keeps the planet's tectonic plates stable. Able to move freely, tectonic plates begin to move with terrifying speed. Across the planet, superquakes rock the ground, splitting continents apart. Long dormant fault lines erupt violently. The San Andreas, the Himalayas, and the Alpine Belt all shift simultaneously, causing mega earthquakes that register far beyond any scale humanity has ever recorded. Entire cities collapse within seconds. Los Angeles, Tokyo, Beijing, and Istanbul are reduced to rubble as the ground opens up beneath them. Skyscrapers twist and crumble, toppling like children's toys in the face of the planet's rage. But it's not just the earthquakes that doom the cities. The shifting tectonic plates trigger tsunamis of unimaginable size. Walls of water hundreds of meters high that swallow coastal regions whole. But these aren't normal tsunamis. As the oceans are displaced, they pull with them massive amounts of mud, sediment, and debris. The waves strike with such force that they don't just flood, they bury. Coastal cities are entombed in mud so thick and so deep that when the waters recede, nothing is left. New York, Miami, London, and Sydney are drowned under layers of thick sludge that solidify into concrete-like masses. There are no survivors, and no remains to be discovered. Entire populations vanish in minutes, their entire histories erased. Forests ignite in spontaneous firestorms, creating vast infernos that sweep across continents. The Amazon, once the planet's lungs, is incinerated. Africa's jungles and plains turn to ash. The Sahara becomes an expanding sea of flame as the earth itself seems to burn. As the tectonic plates grind against each other, massive volcanoes erupt with unprecedented fury. Yellowstone, the Campe Flegrei, and Tambora, supervolcanoes that have remained dormant for thousands of years, erupt simultaneously. Lava spews into the sky, raining down on the surrounding land, burying entire regions under molten rock. The sky turns black as ash clouds blot out the sun entirely, ensuring that any remaining life will starve in the dark. The ash covers the entire globe, falling like thick snow. 100 million tons of debris covers the sky. The heat from the micronova, combined with the thick layer of debris ejected into the atmosphere by the volcanic eruptions and wildfires, blocks out the sun. Global temperatures crash. Within 24 hours, the world is plunged into a nuclear winter. The remaining survivors, if there are any, freeze to death in the sudden deep freeze. Entire continents are blanketed in thick ice within days as the earth reels from the chaos of its shifting climate. The sheer magnitude of destruction is so complete that within a week, modern civilization is wiped from existence. Over 8 billion people are dead, their bodies buried under mud, ice, and lava. Entire countries are erased from the map, submerged beneath oceans or swallowed by the earth. The technological marvels of human achievement, our cities, infrastructure, and advancements are entombed beneath the debris, never to be discovered. Archaeologists, thousands of years in the future, if they ever exist, will never find a trace of the 21st century. It will be as if we never existed. But the true horror was on the inside of the pillar and the information it contained. That we will not be the first civilization to be completely and utterly wiped out. It wasn't until I ran my hands across its surface and noticed a faint seam in the stone, nearly imperceptible, that I realized this was no ordinary pillar or monolith. It was layered. We began to carefully pry away the first layer. As the outer shell of stone gave way, we found another layer, smoother and more intricately carved with scenes far older, more detailed than anything we'd seen at the site. The pillar was like a Russian nesting doll, each layer revealing a deeper, darker truth hidden within. The truths were the intricate details of their civilization and its extinction event. There were 6 layers, each depicting a previous civilization rising and falling before us. Each civilization achieved varying degrees of technological mastery, only to be wiped out by the same cataclysm, now barreling full steam towards us. concludes Act 1 of Excavate. We'll see you right back here tomorrow night for Act 2. Sweet dreams.